The hunt for the Test Championship final continues as South Africa take on Sri Lanka in the Test series in South Africa. We're going to be playing two Test matches, and in conditions that generally people frowned upon because they weren't sure how those conditions are going to be from a South African standpoint, given Sri Lanka's strengths in their team. We're going to be playing in Durban in the first Test, and then we're going to be playing in Gqeberha in the second. And in general, people would say that both favor spinners. But in recent times, Durban hasn't been exactly the same as we remember it. So there is a little bit of hope that this is going to be an equal test match and not as divided as we might have thought before. Temba Bavuma had his press conference today, and we are going to react to it on today's show as well, where he revealed the 11 that will start tomorrow. So I will kick off the show with that because I think that is probably the most important part of everything is who is going to start in that match, because we would have probably be debating that on today's show. But Temba's made it easy on us by giving us these 11. So there's not too much to debate on today's show other than who has been selected for the side. We don't have to talk about who we would have liked to see. We probably can still put it in the live chat and in the comment section. You can still give us who you'd like to have started in this particular match. But there's no point in arguing because the 11 is already set. But before we get going with today's show, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the notification bell for all future videos. Smash that like button. Share this video. But also make sure that you comment in the comment section below after we've ended the stream. It's very important that you guys get involved with that because it really helps out the channel and gives us an more spread in the YouTube algorithm. So please get involved with that as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid Moirin, and this is the show where we will be talking about everything that has to do with the first test and the test series between South Africa and Sri Lanka. Test cricket, yes, is back again after we had that disappointing T20 campaign against India. And I'm happy to see that our test squad is back in action again, particularly these players, because I feel that this is probably the best format from that perspective. So I'm really, really happy at the moment with our test squad and the way things have progressed. But now we get back to business in the test arena, where I feel we have a proper chance of trying and making a final. At the moment, Sri Lanka sit third on the log with 55.66 in their percentage. And with their win percentage, and South Africa are very close to them in fifth position with 54.17. In between that is New Zealand, and in between Sri Lanka and first position is Australia, because India is at the top with a 61.11 win percentage. So this will already make it a very interesting clash. The fact that both teams are fighting for that position. They both are fighting for a position in that test championship final, and a lot of us have been waiting for this and looking forward to this from that perspective. And from a test perspective, everybody is going to be really excited, obviously, to watch some test cricket once again. We have to take into consideration that Sri Lanka is coming off very good form at the moment. It has been a really good time for Sri Lanka. They also have a very good record against South Africa in South Africa. They were the Asian team to have ever beaten South Africa in our home series back in 2019. And there are 7 players from this current squad that have played roles in that 2-0 sweep as well. So there is some familiarity within the squad that have some experience playing year 2. So it's going to be very interesting because Durban, Sri Lanka have never lost a test, and they played 3 there. And that's the crazy thing about it, because this is the test venue that we've picked. We have obviously Kusal Pereira, who was a very big player for them, or he's still a big player for them, when they beat us in 2019. So we need to be wary of some of these players. But I do feel that this particular Kingsmead wicket has changed a bit. We can obviously tell the way the Dolphins are not actually racking up as many wins as they did in the past, picking many spinners in the team and winning games. So domestically, we'll tell you about this particular venue and the way it's changed a bit, and that Pacers are going to be getting a little bit more value for their efforts. The current South African team's win record is basically exactly the same as Sri Lanka's form. Our form is almost identical. The only difference is we picked up a draw and Sri Lanka picked up a loss on that road. Obviously, going with most recent first, South Africa, with most recent first, South Africa have won the last 3 and then drew and then lost before that. With Sri Lanka has also won their last 3 and then lost before that. So that's where the difference lies between the two teams. I'm going to highlight Kusal Mendes as probably one of the main players. Kamindu Mendes as one of the main players from a Sri Lanka side. 8 tests, he has 500s, and they've all been in 3 different countries. He has 1,000 test runs. Became the fastest player to 1,000 test runs as well in 74 years for Sri Lanka. Average of 91.27 has to come down at some point. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see if that can drop in this maybe series. But at the moment, he's averaging like 91. So he's a bit dangerous. It's crazy. We're going to have to try and stop him. Of course, we're going to have to. And it doesn't really help South Africa that they're going to have a batter like this in form. And who can save them even if they get a good collapse? Because what South Africa does really well is we can bowl really well up front and get quick wickets, etc. But our failure lies in that middle order, getting those wickets quickly. Once we've taken the first step and the foothold in a match, we struggle to finish off teams. So him being in that middle order is going to be so flippin' key for Sri Lanka, and we're going to have to find a way on how we're going to stop him. Kamindu Mendes is the danger man for me from a South African standpoint, from a Sri Lankan standpoint. But you can't rule out other players like they have in this team. Kuraratna played really well in South Africa before. I think Angelo Matthews, Kamindu Mendes, I've mentioned already. I'm a big fan of Dhananjaya De Silva. Kusal Mendes is in this team. They've got a very, very good team. But they seam attack as well, guys. They've got some good seamers in the team as well. And we're going to have to also look out for them from that perspective. Because their seam attack is quite good. But they also got some great spinners as well. So they've got a very, very balanced team, a very dangerous team. And I think we're going to have to be wary of that. They've also got a left armour in the team, Vishwa Fernando. Or they could go with Lairo Kumara, both players really good. So I'm going to be a little bit wary because they do swing the ball a bit, and South Africa is going to have to play really well up top, and particularly Aiden Markram is going to have to come to the party in this particular match. But being South Africa's home ground, we're also going to have to, being Keshav Maharaj's home ground, if the wicket's going to spin, he's going to play a big part. But I think from South Africa's standpoint, I'm not so worried with our bowling attack. I think our bowling attack is really good and really balanced this team. So I'm not so worried about them. It's the batters, particularly. Aiden Markram, I'm worried about a bit. He's been in not that great form. And the rest of the batting attack, I'm happy with. Also, Temba Bavuma, big game for him coming back into the side as the captain. So let's reveal the team for you guys, because I'm sure you've been all waiting for that. Temba Bavuma revealed the team in his press conference today. He said Aiden Markram is not the captain, sorry. Aiden Markram, it's Tony Dezorzi, Tristan Stubbs. Temba Bavuma is the captain. David Bedingham, Kyle Verreynne, Vian Mulder, Marco Jansen, Gerald Coetzee, Kagiso Rabada, and Keshav Maharaj is the 11. Ignore this captain. This is an old graphic that I just quickly replaced, and I forgot to remove the captaincy from Aiden Markram over there. But this is the team. Aiden, Tony, Tristan, Temba, David, Kyle, Vian, Marco, Gerald, Kagiso, Keshav. That is the 11 from a South African standpoint. And I'm very happy with that team. I think it's extremely balanced. I don't think there's too much to complain about over there. Maybe perhaps you're thinking about with regard that will tell us straight away that this wicket is not going to be probably as spinner friendly as we think it's going to be. The fact that they only picked one spinner. So that's going to be very important when we look at this particular squad. So I just want to get into the live chat and check what you guys have had to say so far. Texane, Marco, and Gerald confirmed both will play. Only one spinner in Kingsmead. Yeah, well, I don't think the wicket is going to spin as much. That's why it's selected that way, because we do have the option, and Coach Shukri has decided not to go with that option. 11 charging is the best we could have done, well balanced in terms of both batting and bowling depth. Certainly a good enough team to get runs and take 20 wickets. Very important that. Blitz says only one spinner doesn't spin at Kingsmead. Not in recent times. Domestically, it's proven to be otherwise. So if they've looked at the wicket, they probably have decided that. But we're going to listen to what Keshav Maharaj had to say, because I'm sure that the press conference, they would have asked him questions there. Our bowling attack looks good. Marco, Gerald, and KG. Let's go Proteas. Lawrence says one spinner in Durban ain't a surprise, in my opinion. This pitch at Kingman has been delayed, and there's a lot more pace and bounce in it. Does still spin, but not as much before. More seamer friendly now. That's correct. Okay, I see. Thanks. How's Khalid and chat? Hope everyone is well. Hello, Wilbur. Waka says, I'm a little bit worried about Markram test form. Me too. Wilbur says, that's the best team we have at the moment. I'm very confident that we'll win the series 2-0. Why did we pick Durban, says Blitz? Remember that the ground isn't as spinner friendly as we think. It's a lot different to what it used to be. It's more like Kingsmead 2007, 2008 systems. The Sri Lanka side has been in much better form than South Africa. So if we think we're just going to rock up and get the job done, we'll be in for a huge surprise. The batting group all average 40 and they've got real quality. Yeah, I've highlighted that. They're very, very good side. We're going to have to be very, very cautious and very careful and on our aim game. Amit says Proteas need to win all 4 remaining games if New Zealand beats England 3-0 at home. Angela Matthews, Mendes, De Silva, Nisisanka, Kusal Mendes, and Chandimal are all quality with high test averages. Sri Lanka is also one side that plays pace really well. Waka says, yes, Lawrence, agree with you, and bowlers have to bring up the A game 100%. Don't worry about Mendes' average. It's dropping for sure. I remember Mike Hussey and Adam Voges had huge averages of 60 plus, but it dropped after playing the Proteas. Francis Cowley coming to form is disturbing. Marco and Gerald will come hard at them. Lorenzo says, I'm very happy with our team. Vienna at 7 and Marco at 8 gives us a nice balance, very nice balance. And then also having Gerald Coetzee as well at 9. It's just a very good balanced 11. Amit says, why declare playing 11 one day prior? Keep team guessing till last minute. Now Sri Lanka know how the Proteas are expecting conditions to play. Waka says we need to bowl consistent line and lengths. Khalid, what about the weather? Well, it's a little bit gloomy today there. Um, but they're predicting that there's going to be sun though. But there is some forecasted showers tomorrow and overcast conditions predicted for Thursday. So we're going to have to see because Durban is one of those grounds. You never know. I can say that it's going to be sunny and then suddenly it rains. It says it's going to be rainy and then suddenly it's sunny. So we never know. Tough on Rickleton, but unfortunately didn't make us make use of the chances he got, says Lorenzo. Lawrence says they've got high pace too. Kumara is around 100. That's what I was explaining. They have a very good pace attack as well. Visha Fernando swings it really well too. The spinner Embuldinia is a guy we've struggled in the past with. Blitz can aid and hopefully come to form because we need him. Volba says, I hope they prepare a green top at Kingsmead. That will bring the teams closer. In fact, that will give Sri Lanka the advantage because their batsmen are in form. Have a feeling Gerald's going to bowl Thunderbolts. Can't wait. Hope he keeps the consistency though. Good move, cricketing wicket. Good move for cricketing wicket. Great for long term, says PVG3. Marvel Skywalker says, why not? That's the two best franchises to put together there in one name. Excellent. Why not Herman over Rickleton? Herman needs to get some runs domestically again. I don't have, Lenses, I don't care how much their batters average. They play most of their games in the subcontinent where it's flat. This is SA. Yeah, they'll dance around. 2-0 loading, he says. Very confident. So let's listen to what Temba Bavuma had to say in his press conference and see if we can get some insight from that.
And Tony obviously at the top, Stubble, South at 4, Bedingham at 5, Farina at 6, we've got Mulder at 7, Marco at 8, we have Gerard, so Marco and Gerard are back, KG as well as Keshav. Just the one frontline spinner, yes.
What's the kind of thinking on that?
Well, I mean, from a seam point of view, we're quite confident in the guys that we've selected. And then from a spin point of view, Keshav, if there is a need for a second spinner, we do have Aiden as well who can give us that opportunity. Looking at the wicket, we feel that if it does spin, it'll probably be at the end of the game. Considering the weather as well, I think probably the seamers will come into play, and we're quite confident in our ball impact.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just talk to us about the readiness of the team ahead of this test series, and of course, just the importance of doing well in this test series.
So there, he's very confident about our seam attack. They are obviously predicting that it's not going to spin as much, and he explained it. Weather coming in Wednesday, Thursday, spin only going to be probably an issue later on in this match.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the team is as ready as it can be. We've had a good camp at the HPC that we had last week. We've come here to Kingsmead as well, and we've equipped ourselves with the conditions as well as we could. A lot of excitement amongst the group. 4 games left in our Test Championship, and every game is as important as a final will be. So, guys are as ready, like I said. Guys are excited. I'm excited to be back within the team again. Yeah, I think you should be seeing some good stuff from the guys.
You spoke about every game is like a final, which I suppose there's pressure, there's expectation, but there's also a lot of excitement. How do you approach something like this? Test cricket doesn't really have like knockouts, so to speak, but this is a knockout.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word knockout doesn't come about within the team. The expectation and the pressure, I do believe that's something that has come from outside of the team. So what we have spoken about as a team is to keep looking inwardly as a team. We understand what has brought us results, albeit it's always been for a short period. But we want to concentrate and focus on that as much as we can. We know what we'd like to achieve as a team. We know we are getting closer to what we want to achieve. But I think the old adage says that we play it game by game, session by session, and we kind of let everything else take care of itself.
And Temba, this is, I think, your 10th year now as a test player. I think next week that will be 10 years since you made your debut. You've obviously seen this team change so much, and now you're the leader of it. How does this team differ from the ones you've previously played in? And if there are any differences, what would you put that down to? Obviously cricket's changed in 10 years, but how's test cricket for you changed?
Yeah, I think that realization in itself, that is my 10th year, is something for me, and I think I'll probably think a bit more deeply about it, probably be emotional about it. But I think, thinking back to 2014, making my debut in Port Elizabeth, we had the likes of AB de Villiers, Hashim Amla, who were the main guys within the team, accomplished international cricketers. I think now, if I think about it now, when you've got the likes of KG, you've got guys like Keshav who are becoming those main players. But the feel of the team is a lot more different. Younger guys have come into this space and they've started putting in performances where you could say that they could become in the same class of guys as your AB de Villiers and your Hashim Amla. Thing is,
Wow.
me being a senior player, we take a lot of joy from seeing the young guys come into the team, and at least trying to contribute to them becoming as good as they can be. The same thing that was done for me as a youngster is the same thing that you try to do to the younger guys. So yeah, I haven't really thought about that question, but I think the top of the mind, that's probably what come to mind. But the team is definitely different, ever evolving. The modern game is also different as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have very talented players in the side, and I'm hoping that they can obviously get to that level, like he's saying, the Hashim Amlas, the Ibra Villiers, etc. There are some signs shown here from potential of potential to become that level. These players need to keep their heads, they need to stay humble, and they need to continuously work hard on improving their game and not think that they've just made it after a couple of hundreds, etc. That's the key to their success. So I hope that they have remained humble and that they go out there see with that focus that they need to still work hard for every single run, because I think this time in the beginning of the career, regardless of all of them having hundreds, because literally everyone has hundreds now in this team from the top 5, so even from the top 7, actually the entire team has had hundreds, test hundreds to their name. So now we just need them to now focus and not get ahead of themselves because of that.
Temba, Sri Lanka had a decent year in 2024. Have you sort of assessed the opposition? Do you think that they are still vulnerable against high quality fast bowling?
I think, looking at the test cycle and how Sri Lanka have performed, if they are vulnerable against fast bowling, then they wouldn't be third on the log. It's a team that has performed very well, and they've done so in different conditions as well. So obviously from their side, in terms of their preparation, fast bowling will be a thing. Playing against South Africa in South Africa, that's always a challenge. But I'm sure they'll be backing their preparation to be able to at least have answers to that challenge. I think they've been playing very good cricket, and for us as a team, we know that we're going to have to be at our best. They were successful here at Durban. They were successful in PE as well 6 years ago or so. So we know that we're going to have to be at our best. But yeah, coming to South Africa, fortunately, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with the fast bowlers.
Mendes has had a terrific year, scored runs everywhere. Have you sort of
Mendes has like I checked the stats now. Mendes has an average of 79.25 away from home. Okay, yes, it's from 9 innings, um, but still, um, but 5 of those knocks, of course, came um, in England, and he averages there 53.40, which is madness. So we're gonna have to stop him, put a stop to him.
In particular discussed on him at all?
Yeah, like all the other batters, we've discussed him. To be honest, for me, I haven't played a great deal against him, so it will be a little bit new seeing him out in the middle. But in terms of the chats, we've discussed him. We've got our plans to him. We'll respect him like any other batter that we should. But look, the guy has been playing well. He's really held up that middle order for the Sri Lankan batting lineup. I think this time we'll be expecting it. We won't be surprised.
Just to get back to the evolution of the team,
Okay, I'll get to that comments later.
about just now. I just wondered, you guys have come through a lot as a team on and off the field, and I hope that's made you a better team. But from what I can see from the outside looking in, is that I can't remember a time in the South African cricket team's history since I've been covering them that it's just been a bunch of decent human beings in the same sort of way. There don't seem to be any difficult personalities around. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up in South Africa.
Wow,
There's something.
but that statement alone it's very revealing, because ultimately what Alfred is saying there is that before there weren't decent human beings in the team. So that's crazy. That's a crazy statement.
happening.
I take his word for it, I
And
guess.
we always have to find ways to navigate whatever it is. So I think it's no different to the guys that you have within the team. I like that you say that we are decent human beings. I'll tell that to the guys, but they definitely are.
Yeah,
Led by
it's very true to say. That's a very true statement. I can talk from experience, from knowing, and I'm basically I'm familiar with all of these guys. Been tracking their careers for quite some time. Interviewed all of them. Um, have a good off-field relationships, out of off-field relationships, behind off-camera relationships with them, with regards to an understanding and a professionalism. From that perspective, they truly are good human beings. I've had many conversations off camera with them, and spent quite some time with a lot of them at training sessions, etc. So, yeah, I can vouch for that 100%. They are a really good bunch of guys. But like Mourinho says, good guys don't win championships. So we need to find a way on how to be ruthless, even though we are nice guys or they are nice guys, etc.
decent coaching staff as well. That's really encouraged the guys to be themselves, not to be a certain way, and really to allow the best out of each player come about. So I think the guys have relished that. But in terms of the challenges that we face, there will always be challenges. But I think it's just the way that we deal with those challenges. It's probably slightly different to maybe in the past as to how we've showed up.
Temba, you mentioned that you were successful here some years back. If I remember 2019, they were actually won against guys here. Does it almost somewhat give you a chance to redeem yourselves going into this test match?
I think, when they came again to South Africa a couple of years later, I guess we did redeem ourselves in that test series, looking at the result. But I think it's just more of awareness that probably in these conditions, it speaks a lot more to them than maybe playing in the high fault or whatever that is. I think as well, if I look at this group, these guys are not necessarily touched by all of that. There's probably only 3 or 4 of us who were part of that test series. So I guess it's neither here nor there for certain guys. And for the guys who were there, it probably is a motivation to, I guess, right those wrongs. But look, nothing changes. We don't want to make that anything than what it is. We'll focus on what's happening tomorrow and put our best foot forward.
Temba, sorry, I think I actually jumped the gun on my 10-year one. I should have asked you that next week. But if I remember that 2014 team, I think they were number one at the time that we made your debut. They were certainly there and thereabouts. And you spoke about, those big names, Hashim and Amy and Dale and whoever. Do you see anything in this team that says they can also be number one? Because, the names are not necessarily as big, but are they still a number one potential side?
Potentially, definitely. Look, I can't put my finger to it, to be honest with you, but there is something kind of special about the group. I think also the way the team has come together, if I look at the different series from West Indies last year to India, there have always been different individuals coming in. Other guys have stayed, other guys haven't stayed, and I guess it was all about putting together this personality, this team of personalities, guys who effectively can do something special for the team. And I think we're starting to get to that point. In this series, there's no new faces per se, so we're definitely settling in as a team, and guys are very comfortable with each other. But yeah, for me, there is a sense of something special can come about this team, and I guess we have 4 or 5 games to kind of do that. Yeah.
Cool. In the interest of time, we won't take any online, so we'll walk through the
Temba, recently we have seen a trend of away teams doing well in Test cricket, especially if you take New Zealand beating India, and then even South Africa and Bangladesh, and even India doing well in Australia. Is that because that the players are now used to all these conditions, or why do you think? Because earlier we didn't see that kind of a trend.
Yeah, if I think of us going to Bangladesh, I guess there was probably a greater focus on the challenge, and there was a greater, I guess, sense of joy or satisfaction seeing us being successful in foreign conditions. So I guess that could be a reason. I guess home ground advantage isn't so much of a thing, and I guess, like you say, it's because guys are playing so much with each other. I think from our side, the hunger to keep winning, that's something that we believe will, I guess, fight off any type of complacency. And obviously any other team that comes to a year and looking to be successful. And I guess, looking at the Sri Lankans as well from an experience point of view, they have guys who have played in these conditions, so things won't be as foreign to them. But yeah, I guess it's a nice space to be in where there's no obvious winners, if I could say. And I guess that's what makes Test cricket as beautiful as it is.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. Fuck. If you want to watch the rest of the press conference, I don't know where it cut. Go and watch it. It's on the channel, YouTube channel. So yeah, I've covered everything with regards to the game. I think at least it cut at a time when we've already covered everything at least. So that's a great thing. So let me just get into some of the final comments. Brett says, Harley, how do you get to interview these players? Are you some kind of journalist? I was a journalist. Yes, I'm still a journalist, you can say, but I decided to go on my own and start my own business and start my own publication where we're more fan driven content and we try and give fans a voice in the industry because I saw how fans were looked at and how they were treated when I was a journalist. So I've decided to go on my own, and because of those connections that I've built, and because of the company that we've built here, with regards to Cricket Fanatics magazine, the reputation that we built with the magazine, it makes it easier for me to get interviews because of the work that we do. We have a digital magazine. I would like to say that we one of the best, or one of the biggest, or one of the best South African cricket journal publications. So in cricket, and yeah, that's how we get our interviews. We ask for them, and they get approved, and we get them. And we've built a reputation now to a point where we are one of the best cricket publications in South Africa. So that's how we get our interviews. Lawrence Stafford was very scathing towards the previous coaching staff and some of the previous players. So not surprised with the question, to be honest. Um, okay, that's directed to each other. That's in comment fighting. Okay, I'm not gonna. Why am I putting it up on the screen? Um, I don't want to. Tala says, I think Markram will prove everything wrong this series. We should at least go for 100 in 4 innings. Khalid, take my questions. No, I'm not going to take your questions because they're all related to um, the white ball team. So I'm not going to be talking about that. Um, I'm not talking about the white ball team. It's the red ball cricket at the moment. Um, Marvel Skywalker says, who do you think will be easy for SA to beat in the World Test Championship final? Australia or India? Oh my lord! In England, I would say none of those teams are easy to beat. But if I'm going to have to pick the two, I'd rather play India in England. Um, yeah, I think Australia has a way more experience playing in Ashes, etc., and that counts. In white time scales, whoever is coming to the WTC final, both Aussie and India batting is weak. Marco will eat all. Yeah, anyway. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. That's the preview of the test series. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please smash the like button. Please comment. Please subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Don't forget to also comment in the comment section after I've ended the stream. It really helps the channel grow. It really helps the video spread. So please go ahead and do so. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another review show after day one of the first test. Directly after the first test, the day's play, I will go live and speak to you guys about the game and let you know my thoughts on the match as it unfolds. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow and very, very soon. Peace out, everyone.